So many services seem to shrink during the pandemic. We know, sadly, that opioid addiction did not drop in that time. Youth Recovery Group says its numbers have doubled in the last 2 years, and they're seeing more and more younger kids addicted to opiates. Our Courtney Yoon shows us how Full Circle is helping to meet the growing need of young people seeking recovery.
It's a phrase that we kind of commonly use here is that, I don't have a drug problem, I have a me problem.
Getting high and self-harm was a short-term solution for a long-term problem.
And sometimes, especially with substance abuse, you have a hard time loving yourself.
Keegan Pyron smoked pot for the first time at age 11. Eventually, he was doing fentanyl and methamphetamines.
If I can't have a plan to keep using, I have to live here. I have to be here, I have to be in the moment.
Now he's 17 years old and more than 8 months sober, with the help of a support group called Full Circle.
If you take away getting high, you take away self-harm, you take away these things that are making me feel whole, you know how I feel? Empty.
Program Director Ben Stinser says if you want to get sober, what you do next has to be a sufficient substitute.
The goal is to provide them with something that's equally as exciting or as visceral as that lifestyle can be prior to coming into the program.
Ben says this group isn't therapy and it's not treatment.
But I think one of the most important aspects of the program is that it's fun.
For people 13 to 25 years old, they provide a range of activities, sober social events, and people who can relate to an addict's struggle. Ben got sober when he was 17, just like Keegan.
Look, we're not trying to save anybody. I'm not trying to save anybody. I'm trying to teach them how to save themselves.
They attack the problem in peer-to-peer and parent-to-parent support groups.
I sit down with someone who hasn't lived that and tell them some of the things I've done, and they cry. I sit down with him and he laughs.
Keegan now uses the tools he's learned here, honesty and patience, so he can be the best version of himself. He says he doesn't search for happiness anymore, but rather he searches for the ability to be happy, sad, or angry.
Letting myself feel these things and letting them go as they're supposed to. And that's what I look for, and that's what I live for.
There are 97 teens who participate in Full Circle right now, and the group wants to help more. If you're a clinician or therapist and have patients seeking recovery support, Full Circle offers help to families at no cost. Kyle.
And I think, Courtney, as we think about the face of the opioid epidemic, it's not often the face of somebody that some would consider to be a child or at least a young person, but we know that they truly are affected.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year, 35 kids in the state of Colorado died from a fentanyl overdose. Those were kids that were 10 to 18 years old. For Full Circle, they're seeing more and younger children coming into their support group, even their age range from 18 to 25. Those people who are coming into their support group, they've already been to treatment 5 or 6 times and, have tried to get sober 5 or 6 times. It's just something that just keeps growing, this epidemic.
Wow, teens and preteens. Difficult story, but Courtney, good to have you on next for the first time.